Hello guys, welcome back. So, special stream tayo today dahil bumabaksit tayo sa nangyari lang kanina. Kakatapos lang na HOK Season 3, Invitational Season 3 sa SM United sa. So, papanoorin natin yung mga nangyari, especially dun sa ano, Philippine teams against dalawang very strong Korean teams na Nongshim and Genji. So, without further ado, check na natin ngayon. So, start
choose, right? Does he go for the Garden mode? Does he go for the Lung? Right? And how deep is your...
But I think it's careful, right? Everything is...
You press the situation multiple times.
Opponents... Hero pick.
Yeah, right now I think I prefer Nongshim's draft. I think it makes a little bit more sense in terms of execution.
So, ayun nga. So, basic draft, this fearless draft or global fan pick. Looking at it, medyo on paper, mas gusto ko yung sa Nongshim since overall nasa kanila yung in my opinion
A little bit easier to execute. And of course, the risk factor on the side of Rough War Era is a little bit higher because if Arise doesn't get his game going right from the get-go, it's going to punish them really hard. And while we love those performances, like in the previous championship we saw in Indonesia where DMT just went ham, Freddy did the pay performance of a lifetime, right? I'm sure RWE can do it as well, but do they want to put themselves through this tremendous stress to recreate the performance again?
Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest thing, right? RWE are definitely going to be scared when Nongshim want to take the fight to them, right? They can death ball in that RWE pretty much want to keep them from, the enemy as far as possible, kite out, split push, use the Dachiao to your potential, the maximum potential with those Sea of Fates, and just get yourself out of dodge. You don't really want to fight very, very arming on that Ogren and giving themselves a huge opportunity for this one. But, again, if you're going to go into the first match, first game, I think that you want to put your best foot forward. You want to be on the winning end, at least game one. Get yourself a little bit of confidence.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, let's change our perspectives for a little bit. At the start, I think Nongshim's draft looks a bit better, but RWE does have some benefits to their draft as well. Now, if we take a look, if 7jin and Arise have a good start to the game, 7jin will be able to tank quite a lot of damage, and with the Truth and Enlightenment mantras, he will be able to lock a couple of members down, do damage, and this is where the strength of the draft coming out from RWE is going to hit its maximum potential because you have long-range bursts coming in from Tunsky, you have long-range bursts coming out from Danny as well, and there is an escape mechanism coming out from Fleur as well. So let's see how this game is going to go. The laning phase is so important for both sides.
Yeah, it's going to be huge for them, right? I mean, to your point of RWE, though, if they actually pull this game off, taking it to Nongshim and being able to beat their meta draft, I think that would be so demoralizing for Nongshim. They would be in a world of hurt. Being able to pick their best heroes and not being able to take out RWE here, that would be an awful situation for them.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I think right now, I like the thought process of RWE. Right? We want to have the support coming from Fleur. They want Tunsky to have that advantage in lane. He needs to be a higher level than compared to what they have on Nongshim. That way his couple blades will hurt a lot more, and there is a deterrence to taking team fights coming out from Nongshim.
Yeah, and if you're looking to see what the strategy is of course it's the Ogren show, right? Let Haku do his thing. Let him farm, take all the middle lane. Oh, but solo in the bottom lane. Oh, he's gonna be fine.
Oh, this is going to be the first blood. Illusion gets the game going for the side of Nongshim. And here we go. That was the replay itself. Small difficulty there, but Siri, he baits them in, gets the escape, and Illusion gets the first blood.
Okay, so the ambush was about to go. I mean, they made a nice little rotation there. They were going to get themselves that. But Fleur actually threw out the Sea of Fate. He was just like teleported out of there, and Danny he was too far from the portal to click himself back to safety. So unfortunate for him, he didn't get themselves. Okay, so the ambush,
Go that first blood.
Oh, but it's the Ogren show, right? Get
Team fights coming out from Nongshim.
yeah, and if you're looking to see what the strategy is, of course, it's the Ogren show, right? Get
Fights coming out from Nongshim.
Yeah.
A lot more, and there is a deterrence to taking team fights coming out from Nongshim.
yeah, and if you're looking to see what the strategy is, of course, it's the Ogren show, right? Let Haku do his thing, let him farm, take all the middle lane. Oh, but solo in the bottom lane. Oh, he's gonna be fine.
First blood.
Oh, this is going to be the first blood. Illusion gets the game going for the side of Nongshim. And here we go. That was the replay itself. Small difficulty there, but Siri, he baits them in, gets the escape, and Illusion gets the first blood.
Okay, so the ambush was about to go. I mean, they made a nice little rotation there. They were going to get themselves that. But Fleur actually threw out the Sea of Fate. He was just like teleported out of there. And Danny like didn't, he was too far from the portal to click himself back to safety. So unfortunate for him, he goes down, giving up first blood. Not the greatest start for RWE in that bottom lane.
Yeah, but textbook execution from Nongshim, right? One of the main people you want to shut down is the farm lane. And Danny, of course, suffers the first blood. He's going to lose a couple of creeps, so he's going to be under level, and he's not going to have as much gold compared to Siri, right? And we all know Siri, if Siri gets ahead, he is not to be trifled with. He's a death ball.
Yeah, he's very strong. I mean, he's going to be able to do his damage here. But in the bottom lane, a little bit more action just going in. But Siri, I think that with that first blood, I think that they're, in a great situation. Siri right now definitely has that lead, in that bottom lane.
Yep, and it's going to have a trickle-down effect, right? So right now, Tunski may be getting caught out in the middle, will move away, will give up a second kill potentially, and will be taken down as well. Tunski, the second victim, because no up a... Right, so right now,
has that lead. Blood, I think that they're, in a great... Just going in. He's very strong. I mean, he's going to be able to do his damage here. But in the bottom lane, a little bit more action just going in. But Siri, I think that with that first blood, I think that they're, in a great situation. Siri right now definitely has that lead, in that bottom lane.
Yep, and it's going to have a trickle-down effect, right? So right now, Tunski may be getting caught out in the middle, will move away, will give up a second kill potentially, be getting caught out in the
Bottom lane.
Yep, and it's going to have a trickle-down effect, right? So right now, Tunski may be getting caught out in the middle, will move away, will give up a second kill potentially, and will be taken down as well. Tunski, the second victim, because Nongshim right now, they've hit a stride, 1,000 gold ahead. Is this lead going to go even bigger?
Yeah, what a great start for them. I mean, Siri getting that other kill, but Haku looking to fight.
Okay,
The path
yep, looking for that punish as well, but Haku makes it out alive. And Nongshim not punished 2-0, still holding steady.
Look, if it was me, and I'm not to say that I'm a pro-level player, I would have gone for it. I would have tried to kill Haku, because I think that he is the win condition on that one. I think that you try to kill him as close as possible. Maybe you do dive, and maybe you do, you might not be able to get it, but I think it's worth taking a risk for, because Haku is the type of player, once he gets going, it's very difficult to stop, especially on an armor.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, okay, Arise, the reason why he might not have gone for that, simply because he already has additional farm, right? He's at an advantage, he's level 7 ahead of Haku. Haku's like half a level behind him, so I don't think that risk was worth the reward, especially if he died.
Yeah, but Arise, on the pay, you turn into a tiger, not a chicken. See what I did there? Okay, anyways, but I would have gone for it. I think it's totally worth the risk. I think Arise, you need to take a little bit more, a calculated risk, be a little bit more aggressive so that you do try to get as much, do as much damage as possible and getting those pickoffs, because it's going to be very important going into this one, because you're starting to fall behind. That net worth lead is starting to grow in favor of Nongshim as they get even more and more aggressive. But the Tyrant here, easily picked up by RWE.
Yep, so they will give that trade, right? They give up the Crimson Golem for the Tyrant. I think that's a fair trade, right? But they have to make something else happen. Get a turret, get a kill, something else. Because as it stands now, while they have the Tyrant, it's not going to matter that much. There isn't a huge advantage to be had. And right now they're going to try again on the bot lane. 3v2, not enough damage. Sea of Fate used by the side of Fleur, and it looks like this is not going to work out. Yeah,
not going to be working out. But look at Nongshim. They're looking to kind of flank around. Haku is making his way into the enemy jungle, just taking everything from them. But look at the blue buff. This is something to take note of. RWE, all 5 members are kind of grouping up, but man, they're going in.
Yep, 7jin, he tries to go for it, will not survive. He gets taken out by Haku, that last hit by the Seer State as well. And with the path of passing, he will make his way out at the same time. So Nongshim, very clean, very calculated, 3-0 up. It's a sizable lead now at 2,000 gold.
Yeah, tough. I mean, 7jin tried. I mean, he had a nice two-man truth, but the follow-up damage wasn't there. The rest of them weren't on the same page in terms of getting the prioritization of who needed to have died. A difficult situation trying to take down Haku because
Oh my god!
Siri,
Tunski! Yeah, that was huge.
okay, that's a bit of an ambush. That's one way of getting back in, and you have that potential burst. Siri, much more squishy than, say, the Haku.
Yeah, but these situations don't present themselves that often, right? Especially when you're going up against a draft like RWE's. Single man pickups, I don't think that's going to happen really often. And Nongshim, they want a death ball. They want to get in a group. And 7jin might be the victim right here. The push away coming in from Arise as well. But it's not going to be enough. 7jin takes the fall, and Haku takes another kill in his name.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to get the kill, but now they've taken the red buff. I mean, RWE have done a good job of realizing that, hey, if kills are going to happen, we got to make sure that we just take advantage of the space. They've taken the bottom T2. They've pushed that out. That's a good amount of space for them, but even more action in the mid lane.
Yep, it's a horrible position for them to take. Arise gets a revenge kill here. They're going to be using the Unending Sorrow to try and make it away. Right now, Tunski does not have that Reforge Blades ready just yet, and I think this is going to be the end of the aggression for now.
Yeah, end of the aggression here. But look at that net worth lead. Less than, or it's about a K still. Still kind of fluctuating. It was bouncing a little bit in favor of RWE. They're finding ways to get themselves in. The bottom T2 going down is a lot of net worth gone, shifted in favor of RWE. They've done a good job of the space that's been given to them. They need to be aggressive. I think that the longer this goes, it's going to be more difficult for Nongshim.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think at this point, the big question for the side of Ruffle era is, can they allow Danny to farm? Because Danny has not been able to get too much farm across the map, right? Every single position has been a silent threat from the side of Nongshim. You don't know where Haku is. He's pretty much hiding in brushes all the time.
Yeah, but I would want him to be even more aggressive in terms of net worth. He's actually, kind of falling behind Danny, right? Arise has done such a good job of farming, and is this the counterplay, right? And look at the bottom lane, it's getting sieged here by Nongshim.
Well, it's a decent trade, but I don't think it's the best, especially if they're able to get the T2 on the top as well. Looks like they're not going to push it too hard. RWE, they're going to split that aggression and try and move Nongshim across the map instead.
Yeah, no real chance. Floor gets himself out of there. He's done a great job of just being able to use that Sea of Fate to get himself back to safety. But keeping the T1s alive, super important. Danny actually has to go back to safety, but man, that red buff, looks like there's going to be a little bit of a duel there.
Yep. At this point, I think Nongshim, the best thing to do right now is actually to take a fight, because Danny has used his infinite fastness, and that's a huge ultimate to be gone at this point. So if they can get the stuns coming in from Illusion maybe, or maybe even Siri with his ultimate, it will be a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it would be huge, but again, Danny needs to play a bit safer, realizing that it is on cooldown, right? So just kind of pushing things out. Nongshim are being aggressive in that top lane, but it creates space in the bottom area. Arise able to pick up a free Tyrant there, finding ways to get themselves that farm. And again, this net worth lead is really starting to dwindle.
Yeah, it's less than 1,000 at this point. But objectives are also really important, the neutral ones especially, and it looks like Haku will kickstart that Overlord. And right now, it is just Kyung against the entire lineup of RWE.
Yeah, and the Overlord picked up with all that space. If anything, Kyung9 stays alive. He probably would have lost that duel if he kept on fighting with Arise. Arise looking to split push, taking advantage of all that space, doing a great job of, taking as much farm as possible and keeping on pace. He's got a level advantage over Haku, 13 to 12.
Wow, he's keeping on pace. But anyway, you know what? RWE, I really like the positioning. They're always in a position where they can kind of pincer out Nongshim. I'm just really curious why they have not chosen to do it, right? At this point, the pincer style positioning works in favor of RWE. It allows so much opportunity for 7jin to come in, get the truth onto multiple members, and maybe you take a big team fight. And couple blades coming from Tunski, that's something that you're going to be hating on the side of Nongshim.
Yeah, and look, Nongshim right now are kind of running back and forth. They've been split throughout. RWE have such a good split pushing lineup that it's tough to kind of put people down, right? You have to
Interesting.
fix all of the lanes before you make any sort of push. Like looks like they're going for the middle and the bottom to kind of push things out. Danny had pushed the top, so that T2 top is going to take some serious damage. But here's the Tyrant that's going to be going on here.
Yep, right now it is going to be 7Jin. He catches 2, but there's no follow-up damage. And at this point, there is a different threat. The T3 on the top being hit down by Danny, but it looks like Tyrant's going to be of utmost importance for this side of Nongshim. They get the kill on the Arise. No follow-up damage. It is going to be the Tyrant going in. But Danny, he gets the steal. He gets that T3, and it's a huge, big win for the side of RWE, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you might have survived, but you've lost 3 members, right? And you lost the Tyrant. Yeah, the top T3 is open, and that's going to be a constant nuisance, a thorn in Nongshim's side, so to speak. But now they're looking to push the bottom T3. Maybe they look for the equalizer here.
Yep, they can definitely hold, but not if Flora dies. And this is going to be a trade immediately for that T3 as it's Danny against the world. He flashes in, tries to get his Infinite Vasas, will get it out. The stuns did not come in combination. And right now, this is the return fire. They will not be able to catch too much mobility on the side of Nongshim, and they even it out straight away.
Yeah, Danny right now playing the Loon to its maximum, getting that kill, gets a burst, infinite vastness to safety. He's going to be fine. This is what you want to see out of your Loon. Yes, they've lost the bottom T3, but they've just traded. At this point, they're going to be neck and neck. Net worth, though, has kind of shifted in favor of Nongshim because of all those kills and, of course, the Shadow Tyrant. Super important for them to get in, but look at Arise looking to continue to just kind of kite them from afar.
I don't think they can do it at this point. RWE, this is a risky position to take, right? Especially considering the net worth lead and the map control that they have. This is not a good time to die, right? RWE, they need to play this extremely safe. Just get the T1 in the mid and get out.
Yeah, they're looking to do it. They did not get it. Probably a couple more shots before, but the Sea of Fate on out made it a little bit faster getting out of that mission, so to speak. But it looks like Nongshim being aggressive, continuing to deathball, putting a little bit of pressure now on RWE's T1.
Yep, they have to, right? At this point, I think the biggest concern for me on the side of RWE is the fact that I don't think Danny has enough damage yet, right? He was going up 1v1 against Haku, just trading blows, and did not do as much damage as I think they would have hoped to. But here's a consolation prize. They get the T1 in the mid.
They finally got it. That's a huge one, at least as a strategic objective. It opens up a lot of the map here, but looks like they
nice
found
catch!
Kyung.
Yep, Kyung, he's gonna try and survive, but the damage is too much. 7Jin gets a shutdown. This is a big moment for the side of RWE. They might want to contest his Crimson Golem. No, they will not. 7Jin, he has to run for his life. Manages to slide out, and here we go. Oh, the Eye of the Whirlpool saved the day. Gets the kill on a Siri as well, and this is a big macro play coming out from RWE. This could be the winning blow that they deal to Nongshim.
I mean, playing the Dachao to its maximum potential. That's exactly what you wanted to have done, right? Like, Nongshim, they want to just kind of deathball you. They want to stick as a 5-man and just run at you, but they're not able to do that because they're being pulled from all over the different places. If we're
Let's see. So right now, 3 core items para kay Kyung, 3 core items para kay Kaku, 3 core items para kay Illusion, 4 para kay Siri, and um, going to 2 core items para kay Faye. Kaya sa RWE, kay 3 pa lang, para kay Jim, kay Arise ay I guess dapat full stock na to, 25. Jungle item. So 4 core items. Then Titonski is 3, which dapat nasa 4 na siya. And si Danny ay 4. Same kay si Siri. Late lang siya in half core. Then si Floor is 1 din. So basically, nawala na yung lamang ng Nongshim if mga key players is nagkaroon na ng or items na ganito. So let's see.
If we're looking at the vision score for this one, I mean, we're seeing exactly just what, the Kyung9 has been, for the forward scout, he's been able to spout them out most of the time. I mean, he has the highest vision score, but usually that kind of adds up a lot in terms of the map control. Floor has done a great job on the RWE side. I think he had an even higher score than Kyung9 with 38. But this is something that you need to take note of because having that map control, super important. And it looks like they've turned the game on its head. RWE are looking to kind of push down at least this bottom T3 with that Shadow Vanguard.
Yep, make no mistake, even though the goal is pretty much even, it is RWE in the lead right now. They're just looking for that opening. They will get this T3, see if it used. The Tacha will go back. Fleur manages to send himself back. Now, the thing is, how much aggression does RWE want to put? 7jin once more, he goes in, but it's going to be the Unending Sorrow, put down a defensive measure. And right now, they manage to push them back and get a kill maybe. It is Fleur, gets the kill, but it's just a roam. Danny will get the return kill onto Faye. Flies to the sky, gets out, and still Nongshim at the back foot.
Yeah, like while Floor did end up dying on that one, not able to see a fake back to safety. But Danny, again, like you think that you've got Danny locked down, but then he's able to just kind of infinite vastness on back. It's very demoralizing because you're like, I can just blow this guy up, but he just gets through their fingers almost every single time. Being able to survive is Danny's like superpower, and being able to do that, super important for him because he's like your carry. You got to keep him alive. He's going to do all the damage, and he's going to, win you the game if you keep him alive.
Okay, it is not going to be a steal coming out, and it's committed. Ultimate's illusion does not have the Unending Sorrow anymore, and right now, RWE in a good position to maybe get a catch, but Kyung9, he catches him out instead. It's going to be 7jin, makes it out safely. CFA going to send him back, and RWE maintain this advantage they have fought so hard for the past 15 minutes.
It's been tough, right? Nongshim right now, they've been kind of, I would say rattled, right? This strategy has been super annoying. They've been able to split push. They've been able to kind of push you around and control things. They don't really want to fight, as it looks like. Oh, they do find Danny.
Yep, Danny taken down Tunsky as well. This is a big mistake coming out from RWE, and Nongshim happily obliges. Fleur is gone for no. He will have that Sea of Fate. Was it Sea of Fate? No, I don't know how he got out, but he did. And right now, it is still punishment, right? For the side of RWE, and maybe even more. 7jin gets stunned up, and here we go, Unending Sorrow, and Siri changes the whole game for the side of Nongshim.
Yeah, it's one thing to push, though, and they're doing this with only 2 members. Siri is actually starting to hit that critical mass where he can do some serious damage. But you gotta be always conscious of where the lanes are. The bottom and the top were both pushed. Kyung9 had gone to the top lane. It looked like Haku had gone to the bottom. But this is the replay, kind of seeing exactly how they were going to go. RWE, they really can't take this this team fight, right? It's a tough situation for them. They're not able to do it. Once, Danny had gone down, it was a matter of time. Tunsky just got killed as well. So now they're being pushed. This is an opportunity for Nongshim to potentially end the game, but you got to kind of, herd the sheep, so to speak, so that they're in one situation. If it advances,
yep, they will try. Arise going one-on-one, but it's not enough damage. Nobody is supporting him, and right now he gives his first life, probably the second as well, with the CS state taken down. And even though there is a lot of control coming out from RWE, it is still Nongshim all the way. Here we go. Powerful passing to get out, and at this point, RWE survived, but Nongshim definitely have turned the tables.
Yeah, turn the tables. I mean, they've lost 2 members each. It's an equal trade, but there's no T3s left. Everything has been kind of, their base is in ruins, and now they need to figure out some way to defend. Now it's going to be tougher to split push because every single lane will be pushing. Obviously, they have, Nongshim have that mid T3, which will kind of slow down at least that mid lane for Nongshim, but they need to be careful when they make any sort of push. This Overlord is going to be picked up pretty huge at 17 minutes, and now the net worth lead is slowly grown to about 3K in Nongshim's favor.
Yep, I think at this point, the goal difference does not matter because both Danny and Siri have hit the full itemization, right? Both of them have hit 10K. The question now is, I think Siri has the Sage's Sanctuary. I don't remember if Danny has one. And right now, the extra life is going to be of big importance for the side of Nongshim.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty huge here. I mean, with those Vanguards, the super minions are pushing, right? But with that Vanguard, it's going to be a little bit more of a situation. But Faye,
Yep, he gets caught out as well. 7jin, he goes in, but it's not enough damage. No communication coming in. Tunski did not get the couple plates down in time, and Arise caught in no man's land. Kyong9 gets the knockup as well. Chases in. Can they get the kill? As the Tiger really mobile, he's going to get out. But nonetheless, they are 4 members strong only against a 5 member strong Nongshim.
Yeah, they were trying. They thought Faye was in a bad spot, but he's able to heartlink, away, get himself back to safety, and just kind of delay things for Haku, the real monster, the damage dealer, to kind of go in to do that. Now they're looking to close out this game as they just waiting for those minions now.
Yep, and there's a lot of life bars to burn from the side of Nongshim, right? RWE, yes, they have a ton of damage, but they don't have enough control. It's really hard to get the lockdown on any of the members on the side of Nongshim. Nongshim, as you can see, they're playing really tight, but not huddled up in one spot where it is the dream scenario for Tunski.
Yeah, I mean, super minions on all lanes right now being pushed in. This is going to be a tough situation. How do they defend here?
They're going to give it a try. Arise trying to go in against Haku, but Haku gets the ultimate down as well. Arise taking out 7jin. He makes the effort, goes in. Where's the damage? Where is no one getting the damage in? And 7jin will be taken out, and it looks like Nongshim will be pushed here. Danny goes in with the Empire Blasters. A big play, but it does not matter. Not big enough because Haku and Kyong9 still alive. They want to take lesser risk, so they will reset Siri now on the outskirts of the base. They're looking for the next big play.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for this one. They're trying to go for the base, but they've been pulled away. They do have the backdoor protection. Haku chasing after them, though.
Yep, there's no life to be had. Tunski cannot do it. Haku gets a CS take, gets that finishing blow as well, and it looks like it does not matter. Oh, at this point, he's going to try Fleur. He's going to try and pull the attention away, but it does not matter at this point because Fleur is going to give his life, and there's still creeps. The minions are in the base, and Arise cannot do anything about it. Nongshim take game 1.
Wow, that was so... Nongshim was finding the opportunity.
Next game.
Final pick by Nongshim, the Musa.
So, yun, looking at it. Again, kung buttons specifically. I think mas okay pa rin Nongshim here.
Ashi could be the killing blow because he is going to just tear through rough world era.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think, okay, look, I think that there's a lot of pressure on Arise on the Yuhan, because every time he uses the Unending Sorrow, he has to use it in a good situation where he's not then just caught out by like a duel of the death, right? Or in an Unbridled Outburst. He needs to ensure that he's using it properly and then he's able to get away, because if he gets caught out, they're just going to crumble. He's pretty much your front liner with the Mayin, and having that time flux to get away, you have that potential to outmaneuver them, but you can't get caught out. It's going to be super important. Again, very high risk, high reward lineup that RWE are bringing. Nongshim are bringing a more traditional lineup. I really like the Musashi pick. I think Haku's another monster on him. But again, it looks like Nongshim, their drafts have been very, dare I say, streamlined, or very, this is like their play style.
Yeah, stock standard, right?
Yeah,
at this point, I mean, if it works, just keep to it. But at this point, the way that both drafts work and look to me, it's like playing a game of catching or playing a game of tag, right? Because both sides, they have the ability to close the gap really quickly. Time Flux gives you the extra mobility, and if he goes with the Howling Wind, that is a big catching machine coming out from RWE. That coming out for both aggressive.
Position the enemy team a better job than their counterpart, so to speak. It's going to be very important for this one. But again, I think that the Nongshim draft, to me, it's sticking to their strengths. RWE are kind of they're playing high risk, high reward, and if they're able to do this, they were very close in the game 1 with that lineup. They had a very good strategy, but they weren't able to kind of close the deal. That's my biggest worry, is that you can get yourself in a good situation where you're able to kind of put yourself in a position to win, but are you able to close the deal?
Win condition.
Yeah, exactly. The killing blow is really important, because if you don't get the killing blow, you allow that farm to really just accumulate. I think it's going to be against your favor, right? And at this point, Nongshim, I think they're going to feel a lot of pressure in the farm lane, because that's one of the biggest win conditions on both sides, which is how well does the farm lane do. Danny on the Arlie, we all know a late game Arlie is an instant burst machine.
Are
Yeah, but again, very, very squishy, right? Like he has the potential to just kind of burst out and lit step away. Kind of similar to like the Loong in that way of just kind of, do your high damage, get on out of there, you should be fine. And I do think that Danny is definitely a capable player of being able to play this early at that high level. But it's tough because you're going up against Faye, which has that control, the Unbridled Outburst, and then Siri, who has, a decent amount of burst himself. So you got to be able to play that one.
Yep, first move coming out from the side of Nongshim will not be too big of a moment, but they get the first blood potentially. The passive not going to work out. Tunski gets taken down, first blood. Once again, Nongshim get the first hit of the game. It's not under Danny, which is a good news, but still, it is a deficit that they need to start recovering from.
Yeah, good, nice little rotation. I mean, RWE had the numbers to kind of deal with that. Unfortunately, their positioning was a little bit off, and Haku just hitting 4 at the right time, just saving it up, understanding that Tunski was the low one, and to be able to get that final killing blow, pretty huge for him. Nice rotation there, and it paid off in spades.
Yeah, looks like they want to try and catch out 7jin. He's going to be forced to go back for the time being, but the pacing by Nongshim really quick. And RWE, they have to take a consolation prize in terms of the boars.
Yeah, and you have to steal whatever you can, right? You cannot let Haku get going. He's the type where you got to slow down in some fashion or another. But checking this replay, you're finding him out. Faye, he was actually, just bait. And being able to just kind of get it, dangle it a bit as bait for RWE to potentially go for it. But he had that rolling raid, so Siri knew he was fine at the end of the day. But just buying enough time for Haku to get in there.
Yeah, putting the Savior in Leaping Savior, right? I think Faye is doing a really good job. And the fact that, hang on, 7jin gets taken down 2v1. And this is a horrible start for the side of RWE. And it might get worse here, but the backup comes in from the side of Rough War Era. And Nongshim, they're content because they already have the lead. They don't have to push too hard.
Yeah, don't need to push too hard. I mean, it's 1k, and it looks like Haku still continuing on. Arise taking a decent amount of damage here. But it looks like Arise will be fine.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing too much, right? I mean, at this point, Danny, he's under a lot of pressure, and I don't think there's a save coming in. Faye is pretty tanky at this point. Level 4 already, and I don't see how RWE can punish. There is no opening.
Yeah, you need the catch, right? And they don't really have a whole lot of that. I mean, later on, maybe when you have 7jin kind of dash through, gets his whatever to kind of pull people around, but just seeing that he's all the way in the top lane, you don't really have that control. Everything is very linear in terms of, what can potentially run at you, because if you know where the Tunski is, his taking liberties is not going to really hit you because, again, you know where he's coming from. It's a very linear approach.
Yep. So it sounds like, and it looks pretty much the same as game number 1, right? There's not enough control coming in from the side of Rough War Era, and they will rely on 7jin quite a lot. And at this point, this first Tyrant of the game, it looks like it's pretty much in the bag for Nongshim.
Yeah, definitely in control here. It doesn't look like, RWE want any part of this. Maybe they go for the Overlord, if anything, but with Haku picking that one up, the rich get richer at this point. It's about a 1k net worth lead. It's been kind of swinging a little bit on that side, but, RWE need to figure out ways to get a little bit more farm, and allowing the bottom T1 to go down to Siri, not a great start for them.
Yeah, at this point, Danny trailing behind Siri. He will hit that level 7 at this point, but once again, Siri, they have left up one jungle camp for him to farm, so he's consistently just ahead in EXP. Even by just half a level, there's a big difference, because he's going to hit his additional skill just a little bit earlier than his counterpart, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, right? Especially early. You definitely want to be higher level in terms of experience as well as farm. All of those things are very good for you. But look at Haku being aggressive, and he's at Fleur. He's just going to walk right in.
Yep, he's going to try and put some pressure, but the rest of Rough War Era around the area as well. So this is going to be a big contest. If they lose this, it's a horrible situation for the side of Rough War Era. They will get the smite, and it goes down onto Arise. The nice knock-up, they get the catch onto 2, but it's Faye and Haku. The last 2 members you want. You want the farm lane. You want Siri does not get the catch.
Yeah, Haku actually used his smite as well, but Arise actually got it. He just had a little bit more damage in that sense, and just being able to pick that one off, pretty huge for them. I mean, it was a huge commitment on both sides to kind of steal for it, but again, every single buff, just defending your own jungle, it's got to be a little bit more, conscious, like for RWE, because it's more complex. You're getting pushed out. Everything is very difficult. Nothing is for free.
Oh, the pincer comes in. Haku chasing on the back lines. He's looking for Danny as well. Gets the duel to the death, but he does not have enough health. He will use that Blood Rage to get out. And at this point, Faye might be the sacrificial lamb. They're trying to get their hands on to Siri. He will not make it out. 7jin gets the kill. It's a 1-for-1 at this point. And it does not matter because Nongshim, they still have the lead. 18,000 at this point.
Look, I'm gonna have to check the angle on that one, but I think Siri actually might have messed up his rolling raid. I think he was trying to roll into the Tyrant Pit, and I think he just barely missed, and 7jin was able to continue the, his assault. And Kyung9 was trying to keep him alive, not able to do so, but, Siri just on the run. I think it was a bit of a misclick, if anything else.
Well, I think it was inevitable. His death, regardless of whether he made it out of into the pit itself, I think 7jin still had whatever's to really throw and get across that wall, right? So he was a guaranteed kill.
Okay, guaranteed kill, yes, but then I think that you have the rest of Nongshim. Again, we're gonna have to see the replay of where everyone else was. If they were able to kind of put him in the pit, then 7jin would, then he might be in a bad spot. Yeah, he might have gotten the kill on Siri, but maybe he would have taken a little bit more damage. But now, Nongshim right now, putting a little bit of pressure, at least on the top lane, get that top T1.
Yep, and this is a huge marker, right? So 1,000 ahead might not seem like much, but the map control is huge coming from Nongshim. Haku waiting on the back lines, going for a rise. Will he commit that duel to the death? Right now, he chooses not to because they force out the unending sorrow. 7jin on the back lines, trying to go for more. Siri makes it out unscathed at this point, and right now the aggression has to end for the side of Ruffle Era. There is no catch to be had.
Yeah, no catch to be had. Haku right now saving the duel to the death. You don't need to go. You don't need to overcommit. If you get yourself in a bad situation, you don't want to be, out of position, so to speak. Siri was very low. Once he got out, Haku was like, okay, we all need to get out of here. Everybody needs to just stay alive. But RWE doing a good job of just sticking together. Now they're going to start the Overlord, and this is looking to be a free one.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like both teams, they're doing the tango, and Nongshim just a little bit better, right? They have chosen specific moments to get out of very hard situations, and at this point, RWE, they might go for it. They will dive under that T1, but here comes the backup. Haku goes for the duel on the death onto the Yixing as well. Gets locked up into the board, but here comes the backup. Kyung9, will he go for more? At this point, they will not be able to get to Haku, and Haku makes it out alive over and over again.
Yeah, very close. I mean, just keeping that T1 alive, though, was pretty much thwarting any sort of actual assault by RWE, but they had a good potential. They had a good idea. They almost, they were close to do it, but not expecting Haku to come out of left field and just kind of, to make things a little bit uncomfortable for RWE. They had the sustain and they would have been fine, but they didn't really want to dive onto the tower. So another assault attempt, but no conversion on that one.
Yep, it's going to be like that for the, next 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe Faye will be the prize they can collect. He will not commit his ultimate, gets the kill, but it goes to Fleur. This is not the best situation for the side of Ruffle Era. They get the trade on the side of Nongshim, gets the Tyrant for themselves. Not the Shadow Tyrant just yet, but T1 under threat.
Yeah, and taking liberties, that's the thing. That repositioning, absolutely huge. Haku.
He's gonna go in, gets the Blood Rage down as well, but it's a big overcommitment. 7jin gets the kill. This is a big turning moment. 7jin will move back. Here comes the potential heals. No, Arise has no more ultimates, no unending sorrow, but they get a T1, so that's a good situation. But on the back lines, we might be looking for an opening onto Kyung9. Who does he pick? He picks out Danny. He gets the kill as well. Kyung9, the hero for the side of Nongshim. Here comes the backup. He might have to give his life, but Siri, he feels confident. He wants to go in for more. He's the back out, and Nongshim, they still take the win here.
Oh, Kyung9, you are a brave, brave man. He saw all 4 of them, and he was like, oh yeah, no, I can still get this kill onto Danny, and I can get out scot-free, essentially. Kyung9 playing the Charlotte to the maximum there, and being able to take a bit of a high-risk, high-reward play, and he actually got rewarded on that.
Yep, this might be a big moment here. Potential still coming out, but it is going to be thwarted. At this point, Haku just pushes them away. Just his mere presence is enough to tell Ruffle Era, hey, now is not your time. Here comes the world is my board. Will not get anyone besides Faye, but Faye, he's cannon fodder. He does not care if he dies.
Okay, as a fellow roamer, I hate the fact that you call him a cannon fodder. We have feelings too, okay? No, but Faye is playing it well. I mean, he's very tanky. He understands the limits of this one. But I do want to talk about Toonski. The Yixing, you're seeing it time and time again. The taking liberties is actually kind of botching things up. He's able to get some good kills. I mean, the first time onto Faye because of that, but just setting things up and slowing down Haku. Because once he duels to the death, you create the world is my board and make it this giant checkerboard where it's very difficult for Haku to kind of continue on with that momentum.
Yeah, but Asian dad come in. You need to land a sliding stones. That's the majority of the damage, right? And at this point, they're going to give it a try. Unleash the beast onto 2. The backlines. Danny will make it out safely at this point, but there's a lot of commitment going in. Duel to the death. Goes for the Yixing. Tunski might not survive. The first one down in this fight. And on the backlines, once again, Danny in trouble. Can he get the kill? And they will get the return fire. Haku gets taken down. 1-for-1 trade. But I think this is a big win for the side of Rough World Era. They have managed to shut down Haku.
Yeah, actually pretty huge. Once he died, I was like, okay, this fight, not good for them. I mean, Nongshim was going ham. He was being very aggressive, and they didn't really have the follow-up. Again, Haku so far up in front. They take the mid T1 here, and Nongshim are looking to kind of equalize in terms of that. Oh my gosh, they're continuing.
Oh, big moment. That's a big heal. Danny, he pushes on. He dies for the effort, but as long as they get the kill, this is a big win for the side of RWE, Ruffle Era. They get two kills in this big fight, and right now, Ruffle Era, if they can get that Shadow Overlord, it's going to be a big moment for them.
Okay, I was kind of like Nongshim in the sense that, like, is this fight real? Like, RWE were continuing on, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, Nongshim are in a bad spot. RWE continuing on with the fight, getting some of those kills onto Siri and Faye. Absolutely huge for RWE. They're back in this game as they have the net worth lead now.
Yeah, they understood that they need to be tenacious about their efforts and they need to trudge on, right? I think that was the best decision ever. Maybe not too much damage coming out from Arise with the Unending Sorrow, but nonetheless, it's a big momentum swing, right? Right now, 7jin, he goes up 1v2, might have to give his life here. Haku going for the chase as well, the knockup, but 7jin, he's not long for this will. Will trying to make it out. Duel to the death, the shutdown. 7jin does not make it out.
Yeah, Haku saving that duel to the death, realizing that this is the last one. Like, if you play your trump card, okay, I have my trump card. I'm going to be able to chase you to the ends of the earth. You're not going to get away from Haku. Understanding that. And again, Haku, he's great on the Musashi, and there's a reason for that, but you got to get him going. Him dying that one time was actually pretty huge for RWE to get back in this game.
Yep, and the opening to even things out, put a cap on it, because right now Nongshim, they will be going for that Shadow Overlord. No contest coming in, it's not a good position to try and contest for that anyway, and thus, Nongshim swing things back into their favor.
Yeah, I mean, this is as 50-50 as it gets. If we're talking about drafts alone, who has the edge in the late game?
Honestly, I think late game goes to Rough World Era because Tunski, he will be able to get a lot of damage, but this is on the basis he lands that world is my board. He needs to lock them in. Okay. If not, there's no damage coming in.
Yeah. No, I see that. I mean, but like whenever you have a Lady Soon in a Musashi, I'm almost thinking late game, like they're fine, right? Like I think that they're able to contest, but again, I think it's more of the control that you're talking about from Toonski, right? Being able to kind of, you know, dictate the fight. Maybe you get that pick off and then turn those fights 5 versus 4, and I think you're gonna have a good time.
Yep. Potential situation. I mean, if Haku commits that duel to the death too early, it could bait his entire team to step into the world of my board. And I think that's the situation that Ruffle Era are waiting on, right? But as it stands now, Siri already, I think, should be at maximum itemization. So that's not going to be an easy situation to get out of.
Yeah, look at those towers just getting completely whittled down here. Siri just like making mincemeat of them and forcing it out, but Arise all the way up in front.
Yeah. Big damage, going to be forced to use the Unending Sorrow, and right away, Siri, he's able to do this over and over again. No major commitments coming out from the side of Nongshim. Most ultimates are still available. Only illusion left in terms of waiting for the cooldowns, but Nongshim, like we said, advantage going to them at this point. 15 minutes in.
We definitely have the advantage here. I mean, it's 15 minutes here. The Shadow Tyrant is going to be picked up. Faye all the way up in front. Oh, they're going.
Yep, duel to the death, gonna be put up on the backlines as well. They go in the Charlotte, he's doing so much work. Will give his life for the cause, and finally the lockdown onto 4, but there's nobody near. And at this point, 7jin uses the flash. Can he get the catch? This is a big moment. Gets the pull in with the whatever as well. They will get the kill. Illusion gets taken down. And here we go, Tunski survives once again. They get the kill onto Haku. A big turnaround, and Rough World Era. This is their time.
Oh, this is definitely their time. They've been forcing it out. Kyung9 all the way up in no man's land. He was in the heart of the enemy team, and he just got blown up. You cannot take a fight when, you know, Kyung9 is all the way in the back line trying to do something 1 versus 4. You're just not that type of hero, and now they paid, and now it looks like they want more.
Yep, that was a huge catch. Fade the last one to make the stand, but nothing matters at this point because Rough World Era are here to play, and they get the second game of the series 1-1. Everything tied up.
I'm sorry. The enemy can give you in that sense, and just putting their best picks in. Again, I think that they'll to kind of deal with.
Looking at this, yung naman na ngayon ang Raffle Era, isang paper, yung buttons ng heroes nila. Yeah, I think Rafford mananalo dito.
Deal with the Sun Tzu, because again, he can set sail at any moment. He can kind of get his way out there. Deza could potentially chase as well. So early game.
Princess Frost for the setup is able to get for the side. Oh,
team can blow it. Just of time. The Dolly round, like the Dune unreally played. Sun Tzu pick.
I mean, it's going to swear to whatever it is. It's going to be a horrible game for the side of Nongshim. And Rough World Era, if you give them an advantage, they will always oblige.
Okay, we're gonna have to see. And look, I like it how RWE have been playing. They've been very, like, you know, in sync with one another. They've done a good job of just kind of, you know, they have a good strategy in mind. They are well prepared for season 3. So having the right counters to this is going to be super key for them.
Yep, and right away, it's a 2v1 situation. Kyung9 going to be pushed back, and this is going to open up a lot of space for them to either get the invades, but it looks like they want to keep it safe and take their own camps instead.
Yeah, they're kind of changing things up a bit. RWE, last game, 7jin was by himself in the top lane. Haku and Kyung9 were kind of making his life a little bit more miserable on that blue side. But RWE doing a good job of just kind of changing things up. Give Arise as much time to farm as possible. He's your win condition here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Arise, if he gets a lead here, I don't think there's going to be much they can do on the side of Nongshim. At this point, Ruffle Era, they have left Danny alone, which is a risk in my opinion. But if it pays off, if he doesn't die in this starting moments, it's going to reward them heavily in the next, 5-6 minutes mid-game maybe?
Yeah, look, I see the potential for it, but I think that at the end of the day, you always want to kind of babysit him a little bit, because again, just like even this Firehawk, being able to pick that up is going to be huge for him, right? Just get him a little bit more farm as possible, keep him safe.
Yeah, and Arise currently in a 2v1 will make it out safely. I mean, it is an Ogren, right? So Arise, he sustains the damage, and now the rotations are coming in from the side of Ruffle Era as well.
Look, do you think Haku's Dune is enough to deal with Arise's Ogren? Obviously, we're talking in a vacuum here, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Even if at equal levels, I think it really depends on the timing of their usage for the skills, right? So at this point, I don't think it's a win for the side of Nongshim in a 1v1 between Haku and Arise.
Okay. All right. So who do you give the edge to in terms of like late game though?
Late game, it matters on 2 different moments. If Illusion gets the World is My Bot properly, I think that will definitely change things in Nongshim's favor. But if Ruffle Era get that Frigid Prison and Winter is Here combination, it is over. Here we go, the flash comes in, and this might be the first one. CC immune coming out from Faye. There's not enough damage, and with the protecting winds, Danny survives all of the damage coming in from Seaweed.
Yeah, I mean, mitigated most of it, right? And Danny just staying alive. I think that, you know, as long as he's kind of, you know, going even or close as possible, keeping that bottom T1 alive, I think Danny's going to be all right. He's the type where he's not going to carry this game alone. Most of it's going to come off the back of, you know, Arise and Tunski in terms of the damage dealing and the kills. As long as Danny stays alive, he'll be fine. But 7jin, solo.
He's dead. He's dead. There's nothing to see here. He makes it out. A Skyfall that saves his life. Oh, this might be telling of how this game is going to go for the side of Rough War Era. I mean, he's going to give one wave of creeps and minions, but he does not care.
He does not care. He stays alive. That's the only thing that matters. Not giving up first
Yeah.
blood was huge. And I like the fact that we were like, oh, he's dead, right? But
Yeah, he's dead.
He's sitting out of there. He was like the road runner, just staying alive, just finding ways to do so. 7jin, again, just playing this Neza very, very strong.
Okay, so yes, that was a great play, but here's an even greater play. It might seem nothing, pretty insignificant, but Haku steals away at camp. Every single camp that's stolen away, 7jin, hang on. He's not going to survive this one for sure. There's nothing left. The backup comes. Yep, it's going to be a kill. Who gets it? It's going to be First Blood going to the side of Illusion. A big win. He's going to be able to clear away his mud faster now in the mid lane.
Yeah, Faye made the rotation, just kind of pushed out the Ode, just kind of push it back into Illusion to get that kill. So very smart here. Oh!
Yeah, the lockdown too much, and at this point, it is going to be the Unruly Blade. Can they get the kill onto Arise? I don't think so, because at this point, this focus has shifted with the flash as well. Danny makes it out, but now the T1's under pressure from this side of Nongshim.
Nice little rotation by Nongshim right there. Just being able to get the pick off. And all 5 members, like, again, you give them a little bit of space. This is what happens. And Siri on the Loom, he's a monster on Loom. So he'll do his damage. You got to be super careful in that sense. But let's check this replay here. And like they did have the lock-in, but look at this. They've got Floor, they got 7jin already as before. And, you know, the Wind Slashes were on point, but Arise does get away again.
Yeah, I'm just curious how the itemization will go for Tunski, right? Does he go for a little bit more damage, or is he going to go for the stock standard utility builds in the form of Frozen Breath? But here we get the catch. Can they get the lockdown combination unlocked here? And I don't think the Winter is here was necessary, but they did it anyway, right? And at this point, it might be still an advantage to Nongshim, unless they get the TP here.
Yeah, no, I think that it's worth using all your cooldowns. It's still very early in the game, and you just want to ensure that you get that kill. I don't really think that that's because if he gets a split second where he can do something, maybe he can set sails on out of there and he survives. So you got to just ensure that you confirm those kills.
Fleur is dead. He's going to be taken down by Illusion, and it looks like positioning not too great from the side of Ruffle Era. Here comes the damage coming in from Nongshim as well. They will push them back. A nice Frigid Prison, but he is CC immune, and Haku's looking for more. Gets the kill as well. Haku recovers with a kill of his own.
Yeah, look at that. Haku, just like that monster, right? With that Wind Slash, just locking him down for Toonski, just getting all the kills. Oh, but they might even get more. The world's my board. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's dead, and that was a big play. The fact that he got Danny out, that's a huge win for the side of Nongshim. And we're talking about macro plays, right? But Nongshim, they have the better macro control at this point.
Yeah, very good. I mean, Illusion, did you see how much life he had? I mean, he's still very low. You can see it on the board right now. He has like a sliver of life, like 5 HP. He's going to heal up in that, you know, in the fountain. But playing the hero to the limit, but getting the pick off onto Danny, pretty huge. You want to slow down RWE as much as possible, and that is a good kill for them.
Yep, and I'm just curious because we have not seen much set sales coming out from Kyong9, and the game is already at this state with Nongshim taking the lead. So I'm curious to see what happens when the set sale card is finally played into the game itself.
Look, seeing Nongshim play in the past, I felt like Kyong9 was using set sail too often. Like he would just go in, like there's a skirmish that's potentially brewing, and he would just go in, right? I felt like he was overusing it. So seeing Kyong9 kind of being a little bit more patient, let the game kind of come to him, I think is probably better for Nongshim at this point, especially since they have a lead. They don't need to rush it.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. I think patience is key, right? We don't want that instant gratification. Delayed gratification is always better in this case. But as it stands now, I don't see how Rough War Era are going to survive this onslaught coming up from Nongshim.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Like, I mean, their control, I mean, they're able to kite you out. They're able to kind of death ball, and it's tough to get onto like a Haku or Kyong9, which are kind of the frontliners. And they're providing all that space, especially since you have Siri and Illusion with that control. Like, you have a lot of ways to kind of deal with a potential jump in.
Yeah, and you know, one of the byproducts of the way that Nongshim is playing is the fact that Arise has no extra farm. There is no invasions going on. He does not get a steal in the buffs on the opposite camps. In fact, his own buffs are being threatened at this point.
Yeah, and look it, they're being aggressive. Nongshim right now playing with those boards and just kind of those barriers, but they're going in.
Yep, they get the lockdown as well. Arise will not get his ultimate down in time, gets taken out instantly, and that's a huge tank out of the picture. No one else is able to tank that much damage on the side of Ruffle Era, so they have to give everything up now. T3 on the bot, Azure Golem in the mid, and it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. This is a tough situation. But again, you're like, Haku knew that Arise is a little out of position. He knows a thing or two about Ogren, so getting caught out floor. Oh,
Yep, he commits the control as well, but there's not enough damage coming in. Set Sail gonna land on the spot, and with this, Danny commits his protecting winds as well, but there's plenty of healthy damage laid down on that T3, and Rough War Era, they have to lick their wounds. There's nothing they can do about it now.
can we talk a little bit about Illusion on the Yixing? I think he's just been on point. Like his control, the way that he's like throwing out those taking liberties as the world is my board, like his spells, like he's just consistently controlling you. I mean, obviously Haku's been setting up a lot of this by baiting, some of the heroes out, but he's always been there. And really, this is the power of the Yixing. I think that this is a hero that we're going to see more often in this season 3 here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so far his world is my board have been pretty on point with the catches as well, and he is playing the passive of the sliding stones to maximum efficiency so far. If you look at his itemization, he is hitting like a truck already, right? Frozen Breath along the Mask of Agony. It's not something that even Arise can deal with, and another catch comes down, forced to use the Skyfall defensively. While, the first instance of it was pretty nice to watch, the fact that 7 Jin has to use Skyfall defensively is a huge detriment to the side of Ruffle Era.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's not like a longer cooldown. It's kind of like you can't be really aggressive when it's down. But it looks like the bottom T3 has been taken out, and 7 Jin is kind of left alone just to defend.
He's going to try and go for the bind as well. The lockdown does not happen, but he gets knocked up control. I don't think he's going to survive this 4-on-1. There is no defense to be had. They make it out safely. No punishment so far. Arise, I think he is still considering the opportunity to kind of open up an angle. Does not want to risk it.
All right, I was going to make the joke where 7 Jin was just like, hey, I need my friends to come and help me. And then I was like, and then they come really late to kind of just like back him up. Like the timing of that was really off, where 7 Jin was kind of, he was alone for most of that fight. But, I was thinking of my own ranked games where I'm like, hey, I need some help. And then none of my teammates actually will recall back to safety at all.
Yeah, but that's even worse, right? The fact that your friends are coming and then they're too late.
Yeah, not able to kind of get that return kill. 7 Jin, again, just left all by himself. He hasn't had the greatest of games with this Neza in that top lane.
Yeah, Fleur just changing up his roaming equipment here, going with the Howling Wind. I think they want to go for a better initiation at this point because they keep getting caught out by the side of Nongshim. And props to Haku, his Unruly Blades have been really critical in setting up situations where Illusion just has so much freedom to place his board down with no stress whatsoever.
I mean, but that's the thing, is like, how is Fleur supposed to get any sort of control? Like, the fight needs to happen. Okay, going in.
Yep, they're going in for Kyung9, but it is a bait. He's going to give his life. Danny gets a kill, but the rest of the damage coming in from the side of Nongshim is going to be too much. On the backline, Siri is just going crazy. Takes up to the skies. Godlike by the side of Illusion. It is 3 for 2 now, and it looks like maybe Rough War Era can maybe do it. Not enough damage, not enough life, and Nongshim dominates them in this big fight. Another win for them.
No, I mean, it's still like RWE have more of the heroes alive, but Haku is the raid boss. He's looking to maybe just end. No, okay, he's not going to end the game here, but look, he's going to deal with the mid T2. 7 Jin is going to push in the bottom lane. 7 Jin and Floor both surviving. Don't, save the game, so to speak. But Haku, this is a tough hero to deal with on this Dune. How do you deal with this monster?
Fleur needs to do something, I think, at this point, right? He needs farm, because at this particular instance, Kyung9 was soaking so much damage. He took up so many different moves and skill sets away from the side of Ruffle Era, and this is why the fight failed for the side of Ruffle Era, because they had nothing else left to give. Now, I know it looks like, hey, they got more kills on the side of RWE, Nongshim just left with the sole member Haku, but how do they kill him with just 7 Jin and Fleur? There is no damage to be had. Fleur does not have a damage item. He is all utility.
Yeah, no real damage here, but look at Haku still up in front. He's at full life, and they're looking to turn this.
Nothing.
Arise.
They can't do anything on the backlines as well. They lock down 7jin. He's trying to go on the backlines, but there's not enough damage. At this point, they get the shutdown on the Haku. This is a good turn. If they can get more, this will be perfect. But set still has been refreshed. Celestial Melody will be put into use. And right now, 7jin might be at risk of getting caught out. He's so low. Gets the bind as well. Tries to go in. Where's the backup? Once again, they are late. But it doesn't not matter because the big objective here is that Shadow Overlord. This can help them turn the game. The T3 down on the bot lane needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it needs to be fixed here. But RWE getting Haku and Illusion, we're talking about the unkillable monster, and then he dies from like the next team fight. So Haku here, just down for about 8 more seconds. Actually very huge for RWE. They need to figure things out. Like Haku was going in onto Arise, who was just tanking things up. And then they just like, all 5 members were like, okay, we'll just blow up Haku now. Because he's committed everything onto Arise, wasn't able to kill him. So again, Haku needs to understand that, hey, you are... well, now you're a killable monster. You need to figure out ways to get on the squishies more than anything, not deal so much, not be so bloodthirsty onto Arise.
Yep, okay, so finally Fleur has some damage. He's gonna get the Splendor on hand, so both defense and attack in position for the side of this Liang. And Tunsky as well gonna follow suit, gets a Splendor of his own. So there is a lot of defensive capabilities. This might be a good fight.
Yeah, they're looking to be. I mean, they're just kind of slowing in, but here comes the Starfall.
Yeah, Skyfall on the back lines. Can they get the catch? But all 5 members to get caught in the board, and it's looking horrendous for the side of RWE as Nongshin run rampant. Siri gets a time of his life. Arise, he's gonna lifesteal, but not for long because it's a double kill for the side of Siri. And Nongshin, they're marching forward. The only member left is 7jin. What can he do against the likes of Nongshin?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to just split push, or he's got to buy time on the bottom lane. He's got to deal with these minions. Just slow it down. Get yourself, 20 seconds. Figure out how to do this. It's going to be a tough situation. I don't think it's going to be possible here.
Yeah, there's no way. And Nongshin, once again, they take the lead. Game number 3, they win and lead now by 2-1.
Okay, look, Nongshin, yes, they come out with a victory, but there are times in the games where I'm like, actually, this is a lot closer than it should be, right? Nongshin, it's a situation where they probably should have been.
Now that has put them in a much better position.
I know that they're trying to be like, hey,
monster, you can't.
Balling, then you kind of, okay.
So dito, ay lamang yung si Fleur for me. Simpler buttons compared sa Nongshin.
Okay, Nuwa kind of adds into this, and it makes it tough for Nongshin to kind of come back from that.
Useless, right? Ladies, yep. Dream Bubble gonna just expose the 2 members on the side of Ruffle Era, and it looks like they will be happy. They don't know Illusion is here. Oh, Illusion, he misses that big marker.
Yeah, this is it. Arise. Going in. Oh, they're
going to go. Oh, nice flash. Kyung gets the first blood, and that's a horrible situation. Tunsky will not be able to survive this. He will be taken apart by Haku. At the same time, Fleur is running for his life. We're talking about flow states, but not this kind of flow. And Nongshin, they take the lead in this final potential game, 2-0.
With match point on the line, that's actually huge for Nongshin. Being able to get that pick off first blood and then the secondary kill, and it was on Arise and Tunsky. Both of them, we were talking in the draft about both of these heroes. Like they need to have a good early game, and dying that early, huge for them. Really unfortunate for RWE. Now they need to figure out other ways to get back in this game because they're starting to fall a little bit behind.
Yep, and first Tyrant of the game actually goes in the hands of Haku, which means Nongshin now have the Tyrant buff. It's a horrible situation to be in because, look, the potential turnaround, the person responsible for getting the kills onto Siri was going to fall onto the hands and shoulders of Arise. And right now, I don't think he can do it.
Control the distance.
This is like every one of my ranked games with like a Lam on my team. I just feel like it's not really as impactful. Not to say that Arise is even close to any of the people that I would play with, but just being able to die early, I've seen that time and time again, right? It happens, but being able to come back and dying a secondary time, Arise, this is a tough game already for RWE.
Yep. I mean, Arise mastered his courage, right? He wanted to go for more camps. He wanted to kind of dwindle the farm. But once again, just so happens that Haku and Illusion were around the corner, got the kill as well. So it's a a lousy position to be playing out of. So Ruffle Era, they need this T1 on the bot. They need to find something across the map.
Yeah. It seems like a good decent idea, but Faye all the front.
Yep, he gets a double knockup, and this is the reward they've been looking for. They will get the life as a 1-for-1 trade. So I think it's a small win for the side of Ruffle Era, but they need to get more. Something else needs to happen in the next 2 to 3 minutes, or they will be stuck on the back foot for a very long time.
No, I think that is definitely a win for RWE, right? The fact that they got the bottom T1, plus you force the rotation of Kyung9. Now 7jin is kind of happily farming for free on that top lane. This is a huge window of opportunity for them to get in, and then there's a reason why the net worth lead is actually shifted in favor of RWE. That was a good rotation.
Yeah, and this is what I mean when I tell you play the map, right? We don't go for the fight, we just play the map.
Yeah, definitely helped out. I mean, it's going to be huge for them, but Nongshim here, again, they're a little bit behind. They're kind of sticking around. They don't have a bottom or a top T1. The only towers that have been taken... Oh, but Faye.
Yep, he goes in, but Danny is very low on health. Faye will sidestep that ultimate, and at this point, Ruffle Era, the only possible prize is a T1, and even then, they're not going to get it. Everything cleared off by Illusion and Kyung9 as well.
Oh, Tunsky, he misses that ruin. Like, I always think, like, the Nua, you have, like, one job, man. That's all you need to do is just get those, like, final pickoffs. Not able to find Faye. He gets away scot-free, so to speak. But now Haku just being this nuisance, man.
He might go in for the smite. Here, drive-by, easy one. But he's going to get punished. 4 or 5 members on the side of Ruffle Era. They're going in onto Haku. Haku, he's going to try and survive. Not going to work out for him. Gets taken out. But in the meantime, that mid-wave marching in T1 might be successfully defended so far.
Okay, Sir Haku. Okay, it's cool that you made the play. It's flashy, but you dying and just giving it up again, not ideal, right? This is a situation where you got to be like, hey, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth going in. Yes, it's a flashy play and looks good for the highlights or whatever, but dying, that just gives up everything, right? And you're letting Arise get back into play.
Holy, 7jin deleted, and that's gonna be Illusion happy with that overcommitment on the side of Ruffle Era. Ruffle Era, they might be looking for the pincer because Arise is around the corner, but it looks like no, they will play a little bit safer, but not too safe. 7jin dead once again.
Dead there on that one. But, Faye did commit the think inside the box, tried to go for Fleur. Didn't actually able to lock him in, especially since he's got the burst ram. But, it's another cooldown that they need to kind of work around. But, Nongshim here, look at the vision score. Kind of key for them. If you're looking at what Fleur and 7jin have kind of contributed, 21 to 26 is very high. Map control.
Yep, Arise, I think he made a mistake here. That's overcommitment. The Nua is going to come in. Tunsky trying to save the day. Actually blocked the bubble for him, so that's a big win on the side. But you know what? There is a particular situation that has not happened just yet, and Ruffle Era needs to make that happen. They need to pick off Siri. Siri has been farming non-stop this entire game.
Yeah, it has been nonstop. And look, it's kind of, they haven't been able to find ways to get in. Siri's, like, his awareness has been good where he hasn't really been able to kind of be ambushed, freely, right? Arise has not been able to find him and to kind of get that pick off, but this Tyrant fight is going to be pretty huge.
Yep, Illusion just landing all of those couple blades, and on the back lines, Kyung looking for an opening onto 7jin, will not get it. The stun comes in onto Fleur as well, but here he goes. What is happening? Arise! There is no comms happening, and Nongshim, they all blind. They go in to get all 5 members as Nongshim march down that mid lane as well.
Oh man, I hate to go to the count, but it's like 1, 2, all the way to 5.
As Nongshim march down that mid lane as well.
Oh man, I hate to go to the count, but it's like 1. You make one mistake, you try to go in, try to go cute, and then your entire team gets wiped out. This absolute disaster. Look at Arise. What are you doing 1 versus 4, especially with that control from Faye, which was on point, and this is free.
Why? Why would he go for that? Because if you take a look at the other side of his counterparts, they were backing off. There was no one ready to go in with Arise as well.
And that's another thing, is that RWE were actually in this game. They were actually, in terms of net worth, they had a slight advantage. They were doing everything well, even with the kill, feed a little bit more, in favor of Nongshim. But man, more.
No, 7jin immediately taken out, and that's the painful combination that Nongshim. This is why their drop is so scary. And looking to close the game, this is one of the best drafts to do it, because there's so much control, there's so much burst, and you're out of reach from this side of Ruffle Era.
Yeah, And it really comes back to Haku just being that frontliner.
Dark Tyrant
Providing
has
that
been
sense of security, that space, is actually huge for them because he just stands up front. He's so tanky at this point where, you know, Illusion Siri and even Faye, to a certain extent in terms of the control, just kind of like lock you down and just blow you up.
Yeah, and you can see the discrepancy, right? Not only just in the farm, the itemization, but the EXP, Illusion and Faye. Just these two members alone. In a normal situation, you wouldn't expect Arise to back off, but he was thwarted from taking that Shadow Overlord.
Yeah, looks like they're going to take more than that as they're sieging the top T2. Arise is just continuing to farm. He's the only one. He is your lifeline. He needs to get that farm. Danny's been stuck in, just, you know, fighting for scraps with the rest of the team, not able to get anything going, while Arise is, again, just trying to find whatever he can to get himself in this game.
Yep, it's a tough situation, right? And for now, he's trying to steal away camps from the side of Nongshim, but it's not going to work out too much. Kyung9 is on sentry mode here.
Yeah, he spots it out. He knows something is up. I mean, maybe the red buff is going to be picked off here, but...
Oh, no. Yep, he makes it out, but that's an ultimate given, and Danny falls as it looks like T3 on the top going to be split wide open. On the backlines, Arise looking for an entry point, but there's nothing available. All he can do is try and cut the waves, but even then, the rest of the members of Nongshim are already covering that spot.
Yeah, you can't fight there, right? With Danny down for 30 seconds, or 21 now, Arise just takes the red buff. Maybe he gets away. Faye gets sent out with him. No way.
There's no way. That thing inside the box. Everything committed. 4 members strong actually, as Haku gonna be credited with that kill as well. And it looks like a rough world era. It is like the start of the end here.
Yeah, it's looking to be a rough world era. Anyways.
Well done.
No, but look, I don't know how they get back in this one, right? Danny getting caught out in that top lane was like a huge travesty for them, right? Not being able to just kind of stay alive, because without Danny, you can't really fight. Plus, he's not even farming at this point. Like, who is going to just kind of control this game for you? And now you have a situation where you have Tunski on the Nua and Lam, which is, both of them are very behind. And these are heroes that really don't come back. This is a, like, almost unwinnable game for RWE at this stage.
Yep, they need too much time, and I mean, time is of the essence. Even in the late game, I don't think Danny can take a 1v1 fight against Haku, right? Even now, he's tickling him with all the skill sets that he has. He's using everything. Ultimate Shell, Rolling Raid, whatever extra damage, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's just like tickling your winners. So like everyone else, I mean, Illusion is serious. As long as their positioning is fine, the potential angles that, you know, RWE go in on are very linear. Aside from Arise, maybe gets in.
Yep. They give it a try. Look, nothing is happening. Arise, along with Fleur, they try to go on the backlines, try to catch out Kyung9, but they get caught out instead. And this might be the death blow for them. It is going to be a snipe. Kyung9 gets credited for that kill as well. Nongshim, they have taken 1 down. 4 more to go. Maybe not even necessary because the crystal is exposed. The dragons are in.
Yeah, it looks like 7 Jin just force field suppression just to stay alive. They get a heal, but like this base is under siege. Haku all the way up in the front line. They do have the Vanguard, so they could push here potentially. But, you know, oh, they're locked down.
Up, Green Roam catching out the backlines as well. A lot of snipes coming in. Arise, he gets the crash in, but does not get the kill. There is not enough life for them. There's too much damage coming out from the side of Nongshim. Lessons will be learned today, and what a snipe as Siri, he lays down the domination. The next round and wave of minions are here, and it looks like this could be the end of the game. Tunski, he's trying his best on the back lines. They get the knockup onto 3 Fleur. He's gonna try his best, but the 3rd time is the charm. It is going to be Nongshim taking this entire series, putting themselves on top of Group D.
Yeah, what a huge win for Nongshim, right? You're getting to play on the international stage in the Philippines. The first matchup going up against a home team. Yes, they were the 3rd seed in the Philippines, but being able to stick it to them, so to speak, it's got to put you in a very confident situation. That's
really showing here in terms
For
called Elevate, where Ray was the
In fact, right, enough room for him to get
a while
challenge.
in terms
So, on paper, mas malakas yung Elevate. So, Nalimutan siya pero let's go for Genji dahil ang lakas ng combination nila. With Dun Sensei, Angela first. Pwede na natin.
In terms of execution, Elevate takes it for me.
Yep, I agree as well. I think at this point, the difference in this is the type of commitment you have to give when you initiate onto battles, right? Elevate, they're just waiting for the cannon blast. You have to go
Gen, we're gonna make the
provide enough room for him to get the lead in lane and a G6 as well. These are the two markers that need to have a successful start to the game.
They need a successful start to the game, but they also, I feel like, need to get to the late game, whereas Gen G, they are at a ticking time bomb with the pay. He needs to have that influence early. And right here, we're seeing that level 1 invade, right? There we go. The Wind Slash does connect in. It is the Bitter Farewell. They're going to get first blood onto a Jizzix. Rock is a little bit too far behind. It's actually Mitsuri picking up first blood. Our Elevate done here. No Clue is able to use the Bitter Farewell to get out of there just for now. But they're still tracking him down. Clue takes a lot of damage from Hyde. So Elevate already 2-0. Not going the way Gen G expected.
Yep, and this is what I mean by overcommitment, right? So for Genji, if you dive, you have to dive all in. Elevate, they can choose to react or not because they have the option of mobility. They can escape. There are mechanisms to kind of deter the rest of the team from of Ajis to chase. And this extra shield coming in was the difference maker for the side of Ajisix.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw him actually just escape there by the skin of his teeth and then be so reactive to be like, hey, guys, if you want to come into our home ground, we're going to react and actually do the thing that you aim to do, which was get an early first blood, get some early gold on the board. But they failed. They failed.
Yep. And here's the byproduct, right? Azar now is going to have free farm. He takes the Fire Beak as well. And I like the fact that they're trying to even out the farm by swapping the lanes here, but it's not working out well.
Not working out well just yet, no. I don't feel like it will. I think it sort of pays dividends later on for the side of Elevate here. It just means that Arlie's able to just get that resources up, which is the thing you really want to kind of stunt the growth of, right?
Yeah, and to make matters worse, now Genji, they don't have any resources to go for.
No resources to go for at all just yet. I mean, we're seeing Ray and Roche just try and like hold their own up into the clash lane here. It's just trying to put a little bit of pressure onto the Liu Bang, but we know with the Battlefield Command, he's able to get anywhere he wants to, but Clue having to use his abilities to latch onto Inua there just to escape that one, and it was all thanks to the Blazing Brilliance just to keep away Elevate.
Yep, every time it's used as a defensive measure, I think it's not going to be in favor of Genji, right? So at this point, Elevate, I think they're just playing according to how their draft works best. Genji, they still have some figuring out to do. First and foremost, maybe get a little bit more farm and maybe try and create some space for Rock because Pei needs the farm, and right now at level 5, he's not in a position where he needs to be. He needs to be over level. He needs to be higher than Ajisix. He needs to make the difference.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be ahead of the curve, right? And I mean, it's not looking that way in terms of the overall resources, but we don't know what it's like between these two. But from what we've seen so far, obviously the failed level 1 engage, the gank onto their enemy's jungle, I feel like it's definitely going to be a Jizzix here with the more gold. He does use the duel at death to get out of the way of the Blazing Brilliance, which was beautifully executed there by a Jizzix. It is Hyde coming in here as well. From the clash lane, Liu Bang gets hit with the Destiny counter. The set sail coming through to the back line actually connects onto Hyde. Gets the kill for Gen G, but here is the world of my board, locking him into a small space. We do see that Jizzix gets the kill onto Clue. Mitsura gets the kill onto Wawa as well, so well played by Elevate. We saw a little bit of a glimmer of hope there for Gen G.
Yeah, it was, right? It's a huge risk because they don't have a traditional farm lane hero at this point. I think it's not paying off that well yet, but I can kind of see, okay, late game, they want to make sure that if the early game fails, at least they can have something to fall back on. This was a beautiful bolt. The set sail definitely did hit his mark. Stopped the stuns from coming in because the mortar was actually knocked up as well. But, return fire, at this point, the problem is Azar. Nobody has dealt with the fact that Azar has been free farming this first, 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's like Bob Ross says, it's those beautiful little mistakes, right? It's like that set cell wasn't meant for Motsu, but it connected, it stopped the stuns. It kind of worked in their favor, but it still meant that Elevate was able to get on top. But speaking of getting on top, Wawa is currently on top of Azar there. He's able to lay step out of the way though, so not quite getting the kill and stunting the growth of Azar for now.
Yep, couldn't finish the job, but that's a very scary idea. The fact that Azar can be threatened by Wawa at this point just like that, that serves as a warning. But that's only momentary, because late game, I don't think Azar is going to worry that much about Wawa.
Oh, absolutely not. He will absolutely shred the heck out of Wawa, to be honest. We do see that the Doomsday has been built onto pay there, so a little bit more damage coming on for the side of Gen G. And there we are. We're seeing the gold difference actually is going in the favor of Rock for now. So they are starting to build that progress into trying to make this team comp work.
Yeah, level 10 already at this point. Already has that level advantage or EXP advantage going up against Agisic. So that's good news coming in from the side of Gen G, right? But they need a little bit more. Now, a 3-man attempt at the top T1. I'm not sure whether they will be allowed, and looks like, hey, permission granted. They will take that T1 for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Lu Bang is not going to take a 3v1, right? Especially with a Vanguard rocking around up into the Clash lane. That was guaranteed, but they do make a trade into the farm lane. T1 does fall, but speaking of falling, it's going to be Ray getting the kill onto Hyde. So Elevate going into a potential team fight into this mid lane are down a member.
Hyde, I think he made a correct decision, but the team couldn't capitalize on it, right?
Oh, that was nice there by Wawa, but it's able to escape. Azar being so slippery. Agisic uses the duel at death onto Clue, but then gets the bit of well, it is going to be Rock getting the kill onto Agisic this first time around. Battlefield Command does come through to change the side of the pendulum. Going over to the side of Elevate for now. The Wind Slash doesn't connect fast enough. It is Everlist getting the kill onto Ray.
Yeah, this was a big win for the side of Elevate, and finally they are able to put a little bit of pressure on that mid T1, which is going to open up the map quite a lot. So Gen G, I think they have to play a little bit more conservative for the next 1 to 2 minutes, and hopefully they get the smite onto this Azure Golem.
They were able to get it. They got it, and they also got Hyde as well. So nice from Inua with the Blazing Brilliance from the back line, able to take out Hyde. So there goes one of their front line. They're now heavily reliant on Agisic going into these next team fights, right? But it's Elevate taking that T1, and like you were saying, Kin, it's very detrimental for the side of Gen G.
Yeah, this is going to, going to cut the vision that is available to Gen G, but here we go. If Rock can actually get a pick off at this moment of time, it's going to be very beneficial to Elevate, right? They can then take a pick, choose one of the T1s or the T2s on the mid or on the bottom, and make life a little bit more difficult and more stressful for the side of Elevate.
Yeah, I mean, we see that Rock here is actually level 10 right now. We do see a 2v1 going in onto Hyde. They are putting a lot of pressure onto the Clash lane, so maybe Gen G put the feelers out and feel like that the Clash lane is the weak point here. But speaking of weak points, we do see Inua going taken down. A bit of revenge there for Hyde in that previous 2 minutes ago, falling down. Think inside the box does connect, but it's not going to be enough. Rock gets the kill. Clue looking pretty low. Hyde is still on the run on the wrong side of the map right now. Luckily for him, it looks like he may get taken down. He's able to get Clue though, as Wawa's going straight into the backline, taking out Azar. So a good trade there for Gen G. 4-2 trade.
Yeah, now you can start to see why there was a particular thought process on the way they drafted, right? So they're trying to sustain through the fights, and right now there's plenty of control. Okay, Pei doesn't have too much of CC available. That's going to come from Ray as well as Clue and Inua and Wawa, right? But there's 4 different members with stuns coming in. Now, unfortunate for Inua, he did blow his ultimate, and 3 of them did get caught on the board, right? But because they're so tanky, there's no way. There's lack of damage coming in from the side of Elevate. And when you get too close to Gen G is happy to oblige. They will take that fight any day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely working out in the favor of Gen G, right? Going into that kind of what we would class as the mid game now, as we're approaching that 10-minute mark for the shadow variants of the neutral objectives to come up. But I feel like Gen G are definitely gaining back some control that they lost in the early game. Taking that T2 up into the Clash lane is definitely going to help them out, especially if they decide to try and focus the Shadow Overlord, right? It's going to be a lot harder for the side of Elevate if they don't get any lane priority up into the Clash lane, is to take that fight over the Shadow Overlord.
I think Ivalice needs to be a little less daring, right? He needs to land the stuns and only go in when he has the option to control 3 or 4 or even more members. Because at this point, you're playing to the strengths of Gen G. Gen G are a particularly melee draft. You can't fight face to face.
He tried to face check the bush with the cannon blast, but actually got meat with the maker as they have the minions going up to the T2 into the farm lane as well. So great timing by Gen G.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? As Elevate, I think they understand the strength. They need more time for Azar. He has been free farming, and I think they have been listening in, right? Because Gen G now, they're putting so much pressure across the map. Macro game on point. There is not a lot of space now that's safe to farm for the side of Azar.
Yeah, no, he's going to...
Checking sa items. Oo. Hindi na kaya ng elevate.
struggle. I mean, with those two T2s down on the side lanes, it just opens up the world buffet for the side of Gen G just to kind of have their way with Elevate's jungle whenever they want to. They take the Shadow Tyrant over the Overlord here for some extra damage. I mean, this pays very well, going on to pay the likes of Angela as well, right? There is a lot going on there for the side of Gen G.
Yeah, and to make things worse, you know, at this point, right, hang on. This could be a big one.
Oh, yeah, Blazing Brilliance sets up a great team fight there. Takes out a Jizik, so down goes the jungler already. Set sail actually being used a little bit too late there, but it doesn't matter. It means that Sunset is in the match. Wawa is here to stay as they decide to push this Clash lane as well as the mid lane here. Hyde actually getting out with a very lack of skin on the back of his hide.
Yeah, look, Clue doesn't need any money. He doesn't need gold. It's just 4 people on the side of Gen G sharing it. And right now, that's too much gold going into their pockets now, leading by 5,000 gold. And I think we were talking about this just now. They have kept on pressuring Hyde, right, in the clash scene. And for good reason, right? If your battlefield command doesn't heal enough, it doesn't protect you, what's the use in having Hyde?
What is the use in having Hyde, right? I mean, you need to be playing on the front foot for Lu Bang to actually make sense, I feel. Like, if you're playing from the back foot and then you're having to use Battlefield Command to kind of try and overturn the tides of already a losing battle, it then becomes pretty useless. But in that case, you can kind of use it as a scapegoat that we saw Hyde do there. He was trying to take a 1v1 with Wawa, and Sunset going against the Lu Bang, I feel like a 1v1 would definitely go over the side of Sunset just from damage alone.
Yeah, exactly. The burst component is too strong. And also, he's able to interrupt that battlefield command if he gets his timing right? So right now, Gen G, the draft making a lot of sense. Clue, he doesn't care about, you know, doing too much at this point. He's just a walking tower, walking wall, right? He's just giving vision so that Gen G can plan their next move.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Clue's vision score, right? I mean, it's got to be high considering how he's playing this match, and it's definitely working well for Gen G. Those that was looking like a very shaky early game is definitely starting to become a fruitful potential victory here. All they need to do is make sure they claim these higher ground turrets, make sure they don't lose a team fight on the side of Gen G.
Yep, Clue still has not used the Guardian Redemption combination just yet, and which means there is a huge amount of survivability on the side of Gen G as well.
Yeah, we do see the Vanguards coming around as well as a Shadow Vanguard adds the high ground turret into the Clash lane. World is my board gets activated just maybe as a bit of a deterrent here, but it's not going to stop the Vanguards from attacking those high ground turrets. And down goes the mid lane one. Wawa into the back line there, trying to take out Hyde, because down goes their front line. Oh, Yi Xing is getting able out of there just thanks to his passive, the invincibility at low health. But Jizzix doesn't, Hyde doesn't quite have that same thing. He does get locked down. High ground turret goes down into the farm lane as well for Gen G. They have the Vanguard. Can Elevate clean these minions out before Gen G takes the crystal?
It's going to be a tough defense. I think they can do it, but it's really up to Gen G, right? Gen G says, hey, that risk is not worth taking. They will back off. But so far, Gen G, it has been impressive, right? The fact that they came from behind and now have a considerable lead. It's not the biggest. It's not something you can't overturn, but it's going to be a mountain to climb for the side of Elevate.
I mean, just for the sheer fact that they don't have the higher ground turrets, I feel like it is definitely a Mount Everest to climb, right? It's harder to get back when you don't have any higher ground turrets because you're now playing against those enhanced minions, and that definitely, I would rather be on the side that have the enhanced minions than be fighting against them.
Well, it's the best chance for them to elevate, you know? But At this point, it's a difficult thing to consider because Elevate, I don't think they have the resources to get things done. No.
Yep, Hyde goes straight into the thick of it, though. They do get the Tyrant, so that means the extra damage comes along into this team fight, which is timed nicely. Jizzix looking pretty low. The Blood Rage does come in a bit clutch there, as well as Ivalice using that think inside the box, splitting the team fight on two fronts, but it's still going in the favor of Genji. That 2-1 trade, Clue going in with a bit of farewell. Nicely done there by Genji. Rock getting that double kill. Azar needs to try and get out of there, but there is a set sail from Wawa. Is he going to connect? It does, and Azar goes down. It's now looking like it may be the closing doors here for Elevator Game 1.
Yep, J6 alone against the likes of the minions as well as a 4-member strong Genji.
Yeah, the Destiny counter comes through with the minions. It is Game 1 going over to Genji.
Spectacular performance. I like the growth that Genji has shown. Definitely have shown they've improved.
0-1. Pero since, tapos na. Let's check na.
Since the qualifiers.
Yes, absolutely. Right now.
Yep, it's a 1,000 goal lead, but it's 1,002
You're doing is trying to get as much resources going into the likes of
the night here. So it is
definitely focusing Rock in.
Let's check na lang natin yung final match. Which is... Yeah, final match. So na comeback na Elevate ng 0-3. So let's see this final match.
Out of Genji as well. They don't want to be going out of day one with no win.
5 seconds.
okay. So let's get it started here. Potential last game here as Elevate looking to close the series. And I'm not sure why I'm the one at fault here. I'm just talking about what's happening on the screen. But here we go.
It's the use of potential last game. You're just manifesting the best of 5 now.
It's a potential. There's no guarantee. Look.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyway. I feel like there's going to be not as much sort of aggression in the early game in this game 4. I feel like there may be a lot of respect given over, especially in the early game. But they also want to make sure that they don't let Rock actually gain that resource lead and get those items.
Yeah, which is kind of tough, right? Because Ivalice definitely going to be able to heal him. I mean, with Glide, it's just free heals all the time. Maybe they can kind of dwindle the farm by getting the smites from Clue. Not sure why he didn't go for it. Maybe out of range. But Azar and Ivalice, they are a difficult duo to fight against.
But yeah, I mean, especially now that you've got him stuck to Azar like glue, right? I mean, he's able to heal up, so those Flaming Palms aren't going to be as brutal as they should be.
Oh, here we go. Wild Growth going to be dropped down, and it looks like that is enough to deter them. And there is no other resource available for the side of Azar. And at this point, I just want to see how are they going to funnel farm into Azar, because they need Azar to grow to be fed. He is the difference maker in this fight.
Yeah. And he's also got to make use of his passive, right? He needs to get those extra bit of damage and movement speed and attack speed from the DRNG. But it looks like he's keeping it on. He's definitely smashing that basic attack and keeping those passives proc. But okay, they go in per ball as well. Is it going to be anything coming? Oh, Flaming Palms onto Mitsura, because obviously Ming's not attached to that hero. So I feel like that was calculated by Rock to be like, hey, if my Flaming Palms are going to be optimal, I need to make sure it's not on DRNG.
Yeah, but top lane as well. Now, this is a potential steal. Gonna be successful here, which means a Jizzix now at level 5, he's gonna have the EXP advantage over Ray. Now, how much of a difference is this gonna make? I don't think too much at this point. But if a Jizzix rotates down now and they get a kill onto Rock or even Clue, that's a big win. That's gonna be
El Hyde gets first blood. Yeah, first blood onto Wawa. So clearly, just the fear of having a Jizzix up into your side of the map was enough for Wawa to crumble there in that 1v1.
Yeah, it's a battle of iframes, right? So both players, they have access to iframes, and it looks like Hyde just understands his mind a little bit better.
A little bit better. We do see Inua coming in with a little bit of a gank here, just maybe trying to keep Clue and Rock alive because they're not doing enough damage right now. They definitely need some more resources. Give it over to Rock. We do see that the cooldown speed boots are coming through for Rock on Loom there. Just make sure that his Flaming Palms come through a little bit quicker.
Yeah. At this point, I think CDR. We've already seen the benefits of having a Ming in your lineup, especially when you have someone as damaging as Azar's Direnzier. And a sizable lead already, a 1 level advantage. Close to a full level, in fact.
Almost close to a full level, absolutely. Azar is definitely showing his full skills. I mean, in game 1, wasn't looking as great, but definitely got rid of my pre-show jit.
Decisiveness coming in. The stun comes in onto Rock here, but they're gonna back off. Look, don't want to commit into checking the bushes for some reason, and I think that's a huge mistake. They have to try and make something happen.
It's a huge mistake, but at the same time, you can kind of see why. I mean, it says Frost hasn't quite, but right now, Mitsura giving a lot of attention down into the bot lane just so Rock doesn't get that early game lead that he needs.
Oh, this is too much damage to Genji's T1 positioning now. Away from Genji. So Ray already not having the best game, didn't die that much though at this point.
Too much pain to handle and too much pressure. I mean, Elevate are definitely trying to get this T1 down into the farm lane, and you can kind of see that Ray's not being able to give the attention to the jungle, and Wawa, the Leap of Fury coming through from a Jizzix claims a second kill for the side of Elevate. Also means that they may take this T1 up into the flash lane as well.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be a guarantee here. So T1 on the top, T1 on the bottom as well. In one fell swoop, 2 towers down. T1 is exposed, and now Genji, the map has suddenly become so much smaller for them.
Yeah, they've got a lot less safe space for the side of Genji. Like, Rock cannot hide in that T1 anymore. He has to be pushed back. It leaves him way more susceptible to a gank from a Jizzix on the Dion Way as well. So maybe not the best start for Genji, considering they are almost 3k behind as well.
It's a horrible position. Here we go. The freeze comes in as well for the prison.
Yeah, for prison, we do see Jizzix dives in a little bit too deep here. Doesn't get the kill onto Wawa, but it is going to be Inua picking up the kill there onto Jizzix. They do get a good trade though. T1 for Yongwei. Well, there's no neutral objectives up, and they're not done there. Elevate gets another 2 kills.
Yep, Genji, that was a questionable decision there. I'm not sure why they still chose to go in, even though they were so low on health. I think that was the perfect timing to just get out of the fight, right? You had a small win, you got the G6, get out. They did not manage.
No, they dipped their toe in the water and it was bit off by a shark. It was definitely not what they wanted to achieve going into that one. There's like, hey, we got Dion Way, that's great. Let's try and push the back line. They lost their T1 really well.
Right, this is one of the benefits of the Direnzier pick, right? He is actually able to pierce through his targets as well. So his range is actually longer than what you see and expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if he lands his stun on you as well, that's your physical and magical defense reduced as well. So it just becomes a lot easier to shred targets like the Zhongfei and like the Igudo.
Yep, and very subtle movements coming in from Elevate, right? But then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, T2's on the top, gone.
Yeah, I mean, you don't conquer things over midnight, right? You definitely just divide and conquer slowly, and it's definitely seeming like Elevate got their foot on the gas. They haven't let the foot off since, like, their turnaround in Game 2. Game 3, they completely denied Genji of any resources, made them play on the back foot. And it's exactly the same strategy here that Genji, just like Alpha 7, aren't playing very reactively, or cannot play to a reactive playstyle.
I mean, you can't blame them, right? The fact that they... Oh, hang on.
Nothing just yet. Nothing just yet. A little bit tip-tap.
Everything gone. It's just buffs over buffs. I mean, at this point, okay, look at the way they chose to take the fights here. J6 wants to go in.
He doesn't want to give in, but I think he's just kind of just pushing away, just putting a bit of pressure on, just so that Azar can try and get this T2 down into the farm lane, because, hey, why not? The last standing T2, I believe, is in the mid lane.
I would like to report J6 for bullying me here. Every time, it looks like he's going in. Look, he's going in again, and then now he's going to stop, right? And then I'm going to pass it to you, and then suddenly nothing happens. But okay, let me ramble on. I like the fact that Elevate, they actually took the side lanes first, because this is a Genji. It puts ramps, because that is what his skill relies on. So the fact that he does not have access to his camps now, it means Ray is essentially
Then forced it from the front, you go from the side, played the early game as well as they should have, or even, I'm gonna say first time of the day, I think the draft is a little bit diff here.
Yeah. Okay, maybe more execution than draft, in my opinion. Right now, Gen G looking more like a charity, and they have more to give.
They do have more to give. I mean, Clue is stuck over the wall there. He needs his Leap and Savior to get back to his teammates. And the high ground turret is taking a bit of a punishing there, as well as Clue goes down. It's going to be Iblis getting that kill as well. So already, almost at the 10-minute mark, the Shadow Barons of neutral objectives are now coming up as well. So it's only going to get, the heat is only going to rise more for Gen G.
Oh, I didn't even know it was not 10 minutes yet. It felt like we were in the middle, like mid-game already. I mean, with the advantage that they have, right? Look, it's, what, 7,000 gold ahead, and Wawa, he's trying his best against Hyde, but Hyde is just going to run away scot-free once again.
Once again, I mean, the mates, well, they've let him scot-free so many times, and now they've got the Overlord as well, means that the push is just going to be even more obstructive to the side of Gen G. They really need to get a good solid defense or even get a few pickoffs. But if you look at like the overall resources, 35k to 27k is it's a hard one to come back from. I mean, it's not impossible. We've seen Elevate do it, but can Gen G do it?
It's 8,000, right? That's a huge difference. It's a couple of items for the side of Elevate that is going to be a major difference, right? The damage output is going to be on a completely different level coming out from Elevate.
Yep.
And at this point, they haven't found the solution yet. Look, they have not been able to find and reach touch Ivalice that much yet. And he already has August Word, which means that even if you get the catch on him, he's not going to die that easily.
Not going to die that easily, but I mean, Blue's having to be a forceful retreat there. Just taking too much damage from the side of Elevate. Are able to keep the high ground turret in the mid lane alive, and I'm guessing they're going to go for the same rodeo here down into the bottom lane. The Unbridled Outburst comes through, but it doesn't stop at Jizzix there. He's like, hey, no CCT for me. They take down Mitsuru though, but it is going to be a 1-1 trade so far. Can Gen G do anything here to keep these higher ground turrets alive?
Oh, nice flash!
It's not looking like it. That was a beautiful flash there. Getting the kill onto Wawa at Inua.
This is looking like it's going to be the end here. Radiance popped as well.
Radiance pop there, yeah, but they still have the Vanguards up at the Crystal as well, so it's going to be Elevate getting that victory in match 3 today, sorry. It seems like such a blur from the stump of Team Vitality, and then for there, he's like, hey, no CCT for me. They take down Mitsuru though, but it is going to be a 1-1 trade so far. Can Gen G do anything here to keep these higher ground turrets alive?
Oh, nice flash!
It's not looking like it. That was a beautiful flash there. Getting the kill onto Wawa at Inua.
This is looking like it's going to be the end here. Radiance popped as well.
Radiance pop there, yeah, but they still have the Vanguards up at the Crystal as well, so it is going to be Elevate getting that victory in match 3 today, sorry. It seems like such a blur from the stump of Team Vitality, and then for Elevate to lose game 1 so bad, and to come back so strong for 3 games in a row, so clean.
I mean, this is the spirit of the competition as well. They take this entire series 3-1. It's going to be a big marker to improve for the side of Gen G. And I think, look, lessons learned here today. If you get the advantage, press on. Do not let go of